But for now, I'm going to start working on the doors. And I'm actually going to film making these doors because these are going to be partial inset doors, and I don't think I have a video of that on the channel yet. So the first thing you're going to do is take your rough opening measurement. So obviously vertically and horizontally, and I spent time making sure that these two openings were identical so I can make two size doors. You can make two different sizes if they're off, but it's important if you spend the time to make sure these are symmetrical. It just saves some time. So this is the style hinge you're going to be getting if you're making these doors. It has this little 90-degree lip, which allows the doors to be partially inset into that opening. So once you have the measurements for your rough opening, you're going to be adding 3/8 of an inch onto that measurement, which is this little piece right there. You're going to be routing out a little rabbet, a 3/8 by 3/8 rabbet on the back of these doors to fit in those hinges. So 3/8 and 3/8 is 3/4. So you're going to take those measurements and add 3/4 onto both of them, and then you could start cutting your parts. So both of my openings were 12 and 7/8 by 15 and a half. So I add 3/8 for that rabbet onto each, and I'm left with 3 and 5/8 by 16 and a quarter. So I'm going to cut the stiles first because those are going to be the long pieces, and then I can measure for my rails. So the rails and the stiles for these doors are going to be 2 inches, so I'm going to take some of this birch and rip it down into some 2-inch strips. Then I'm going to cut 4 stiles at 16 and a quarter. So I have a stack of my stiles cut, and I have 2 pieces which will make up my rails, but I haven't cut them to length yet. So the next thing I'm going to do is put a groove in all of these pieces to receive the insert. Now the insert is going to be those panels that I cut out from the fish tank, and they're only 3/32 of an inch. So I set up my blade about a 1/2 inch up because that groove's going to be a 1/2 inch. And then I marked on my piece's center and then where that groove's going to go so that I can line it up on my table saw a little off center, cut it, move it over, and then cut it again. So right now that blade is, and the fence is set up a hair to the right of that center mark. So if you line this blade up, the first time around I ran all my pieces through, and then I should be able to take this, flip it, and run it through again, and it's going to cut off that other little hair of wood, and my insert will fit in there. So to make sure that that setup's right before sending all my pieces through, I cut a little bit into the wood to make that thicker groove, and then test cut my panel in there, and it slides in really nice. So now I could just send all these pieces through. All those grooves cut my wood, I can now start cutting the tongues on the end of my rails. Now I'm going to keep this piece long because I'm going to test cut to make sure my measurements are right and dry fit it into one of my stiles. Now this step's really easy if you put that groove perfectly in the center of the piece of wood, because that means you could set the height of your saw blade to cut off both of these pieces evenly. If this groove isn't centered, you're going to have to adjust the saw blade to cut off different amounts on either side. My groove looks pretty centered, so I'm going to test cut it off of each one. So what I did was I moved my fence so that I'm cutting a 1/2 inch groove. So I'm measuring off the edge of the blade to the fence a 1/2 inch because that's how deep my groove is. So I'm going to be cutting a 1/2 inch tongue. And then I'm going to lower the height of my blade to the thickness of one of these, which is about 1/4. So I'm going to lower my blade to 1/4 and test cut one of these and see if it fits in my styles. So that first pass was a little heavy. You can see it left these 2 flanges on either side. So I'm going to raise my blade like a 1/16 of an inch and send it through again. So after making those couple of adjustments, that fits in there nicely. It's snug but not too tight. And now I could take the measurements for my rails and cut all of these tongues and then dry fit these doors. In order to get an accurate measurement for the rails, you have to take into account the fact that you have grooves on either side of your piece. So I need 13 5/8 total width. So I have 2-inch stiles, but I also have a 1/2 inch groove on both stile. So that means I'm adding 3 inches total thickness to my doors, which means in order to get that 13 5/8, I have to cut all my rails at 10 5/8. I cut and dry fit that one rail into my cabinet, and I'm at exactly that 13 5/8. So now I could cut 3 more of these and dry fit both my doors. With those doors dry fit, I can now measure the inside to cut my panels. And we have 1 foot by 9.5. There's going to be a groove around the whole perimeter of the frame that's a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to add 1 inch to each of those measurements to get 13 by 10.5, and I could cut my panels. So I trimmed both of these to 13 inches because that measurement's not really going to matter. But then to cut it to width, I don't really want to trim off one side because it will make the pattern uneven. So I measured 10.5 and I had 1 3/4 inches left over. So I split that 1 3/4 in half to 7/8 and marked it on either side, and I'm going to rip 7/8 off each side to try and keep this pattern as even as possible with the pattern that's already on the cabinet. So these are my 2 panels. They're dry fit. I can now take them apart and put some glue on the tongue and reassemble them with some clamps and let them dry. And it's pretty warm out today, so I could probably let these dry for a couple hours and then they'll be ready to route the rabbets and round over all these edges. Now before you clamp these to dry, you're going to want to measure your diagonals to make sure they're even, which will tell you that the door itself is square. And I'm at 21 1/8 and 21 1/8. I've let those doors dry a little bit, and I put a round over bit in my router, and now I'm going to round over the edges of all of these doors. Now I'm doing that before I cut the rabbet, because if you cut the rabbet beforehand, that bearing probably won't have enough wood to ride along because you'll have taken it out of the bottom. So it's just easier to do the round over first. The last thing to do to these before I can mount them to my cabinet is cut that rabbet around the entire perimeter of the cabinet, and that's where this little 90-degree L is going to sit in there. Now this is 3/8 by 3/8, so I set my dado stack up at 3/8 inch high to cut the depth. But I put a 1/2 inch stack in there and a superficial fence, so it's going to cut a little over 3/8, which will be good because you'd have to account for the thickness of the hinge as well. And then I'm going to run this through all 4 sides. Have the door, all those rabbets cut, and it fits in the opening, but also check to make sure it fits with that hinge on. And it does, so now I can cut the other one and then mount these hinges. The thing that I like about these doors is really the only added step to these partial inset doors is making this rabbet versus inset doors or full overlay doors. But the hinges are, in my opinion, the easiest hinges to install. So I came down 2 inches from either edge, and that's where I'm going to place my hinges. And then I'm going to use a special Vicks bit to pre-drill these holes and then attach them to the door. I put these in place so I'm not fighting with gravity. I put my cabinet on its side, and you just pop the door in place and screw it in from the front. So then that's what that door looks like, and obviously it's going to get a knob, but I'm not going to put that on to the end, and you can see how it's flush all the way around. As well as the fact that spending that extra time to cut means that your pattern is continuous from the siding through the door.